Well, here's another fine mess that we find ourselves in. Let's talk about Masters of the Universe Revelations. Now, when this show was announced, a lot of people, including myself, were excited for the show. Being He-Man fans, we're excited to see a continuation of the story. That's what we thought we were going to get here. And in a way, I guess we kind of did. But again, we're excited for the show. Now, I wanted to see a live-action version of He-Man and Masters of the Universe. Now, I know we had the Dolph Lundgren movie, but I wanted to see something that was more closely resembled the show. So I'm still holding out hopes for a live-action movie. But we have this, and I was excited for it. So much so that I was actually going to resubscribe to Netflix just to watch this show. Well, especially after that first trailer, it looked interesting. I was excited. A lot of people were excited. We're getting a He-Man show. Turns out that wasn't the case. Now, rumors of leaks started to come out, and that caused people to have pause. It was some red flags, caused people to have concerns. And then, of course, the show airs, and people were able to actually watch the show. And it turns out that the leaks were true. This is a Teela-centric show. Now, I'm going to try to word things properly here so that you cannot misconstrue anything. The way the show was marketed, it gave the impression that He-Man was going to be the protagonist, the main protagonist. As it turns out, he is not the main protagonist. Now, they try to twist things around and say, when people go, I thought the show was going to be about He-Man, they go, well, it is about He-Man. But He-Man's just regulated to the backdrop. No, the show, what people were expecting was He-Man as the protagonist, the main protagonist. Instead, we get Teela as the main protagonist, which wouldn't be a problem in and of itself if that's how the show was marketed it. Because nobody has a problem with Teela. I mean, you could sit here and do your men hate women's argument bullcrap all over the place forever and a day. It still doesn't change the fact that the people who are complaining about being misled regarding the show are also fans of Teela. They also appreciate the character of Teela. They're upset because you marketed the show as He-Man being the main character and the protagonist, not Teela. If you wanted to do a Teela show, you should have just did a Teela show. You should have just announced, we're doing a Teela show. And then you should have did a Teela show. And also another problem with the show is, from what I understand, because let me be clear right here, right now, I have not watched the show. I was going to subscribe to Netflix to watch the show, but I have no desire to do that now. That doesn't mean that I will not watch the show in the future. That does not mean that I may or may not find enjoyment out of the show. I just don't feel like putting forth the effort and the energy to subscribe, to pay money, and then to watch the show. If for some reason I happen to be subscribed to Netflix down the line, I will watch the show. Or if I come across the show somewhere else, not looking for the show, if I just happen to stumble across it, I will watch it then. And like I said, I may or may not enjoy it. But I still will have a problem with what I hear in regards to how they did the character of Teela, making her selfish and making it all about her, making Adam's death and everything all about her, and the treatment of the male characters. Pretty much killing off and sidelining the male characters just so you can make way for strong women, as people like to refer to them as, in regards to the SJW versions of strong women. But a Teela show would have been fun. In fact, I've been wanting to see a Teela show. Several years ago, I can't remember how long ago, my concept of time sucks, but several years ago, I was thinking to myself, man, I would actually like to see a show about Teela. A cartoon show, a movie, a comic, whatever the case may be. A show about Teela, where Teela's the protagonist. So, that would have been great. I would have been all for that, if done correctly. Which, from what I hear, depending on who you ask, this isn't that. This isn't anything that's done correctly. Now, How could they have done this show? No, Kevin Smith made a comment basically saying that, why couldn't we have had these people in the writing room? We would have had a much better show. You're damn right you would have had a much better show. And I'm going to tell you how that show could have been a lot better. Simply this. Something happens that upsets the balance of power, much like the way it was in the first episode from the descriptions I've heard. And the universe and all of existence is in jeopardy. So He-Man has to go on a quest to find an item that will balance out the power. That's how you remove him from the story. But you don't remove him from the story, you remove him from Teela's story. Skeletor goes where He-Man goes because Skeletor figures, hey, if I get this item, then I will be all powerful and I'll be able to rule. So here you have He-Man and Skeletor off. He-Man is over here off on a quest. And where he meets new people, he faces new challenges, and he also has to deal with Skeletor. You got He-Man as the main protagonist, and you have Skeletor as a main antagonist. Meanwhile, back on Eternia, Teela, being the captain of the Royal Guard, the highest ranking person in Eternia, who answers only to the royal family, has to protect the kingdom. That includes the castle, that includes Grayskull. She has to protect the kingdom against the hordes of Skeletor that are left behind, led by Evil Lyn. Evil Lyn usually is second in command to Skeletor, so Evil Lyn is the leader. So here you have Teela as the protagonist in her story, Evil Lyn as the antagonist in her story. And Evil Lyn is elevated and Teela is elevated because they are the central characters of their individual stories, and they are both leading armies against each other. So, here you have two protagonists in their own separate stories that still tie into each other, and you could have switched up. You could have had the first episode be about all of them together, and that sets up everything. Then each following episode, one focuses on He-Man, the other one focuses on Teela. And then maybe at the end you could have had the last episode where they're both sort of focuses on both characters at the same time, and you lead up to the cliffhangers. And since the cliffhanger of the last show, spoiler warning here, but since the cliffhanger for this show was Prince Adam being stabbed by Skeletor and him seizing the power, you could have still ended it in a similar fashion to where Skeletor has the power and He-Man is presumed dead. And then as far as the Teela side go, you could have left that as a cliffhanger as, oh my God, they're about to be overrun and Evil Lyn's forces are about to win. And then you go on from there. Now, I'm not sure what they have planned for. I don't know what they had originally planned or what they are going to rework in regards to their plans regarding the rest of the show, because this is the first 5 episodes and they have more episodes to come. Not sure what they're going to do in regards to that. They could change things around, or they could continue down the same path. But the idea I laid out for you, in my personal opinion, is a much better way to handle it, because the He-Man fans get what they want. They get He-Man, and also they get a strong representation of Teela, which they do like. And then the fans, these people that the show is supposedly trying to appease, they should get what they want, or at least they get what they say they want. Unless what they really truly want is to end the toxic masculinity and the male patriarchy. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. Thanks for watching the video. Hit that like, subscribe button. Ring that notification bell so that you can be notified for whenever I upload new videos. And until next time, I will catch you on the flip side.